The Color of Your Eyes, written by Blackcatsassin, read by gutterratt1213, Chapter 28, Hannah. Everybody was talking incoherently at the same time as Hannah was serving tea and coffee along with a couple of biscuits. She looked around, examining her friends. Lilly was telling Cleo, Jessy, and Dan what happened after they searched Leo's hotel room. Thomas was talking with Phil about how it went when Thomas informed Richy of what happened tonight. Jake was sitting in a corner, holding Leah's phone, and her backpack was close by. He was trying to unlock her phone without using a PIN, typing commands on his laptop since he didn't know the number. Jake said it would take a while, and even mentioned he did the same thing with Hannah's phone. Hannah heard of what Jake and Leah had done together in order to find her. She would help Jake get Leah back. It was more than fair. She felt she owed that much to both Leah and Jake. "We should call the police," Lilly mentioned when the group suddenly went silent as if they had nothing more to discuss.
As much as I hate the Duskwood police, I think I agree with Lilly.
Phil took out a cigarette, but stopped when Hannah glared at him.
"Same,"
Dan mumbled, drinking another shot of whiskey. Jake pointed up a finger.
"We can call the police as soon as I have unlocked this phone. Maybe there's a clue that could tell us what happened to Leah,"
he said, his face still pale like a ghost. "Jake, this is something really big. We should call the police right now." Hannah tried to persuade her half-brother as she put a hand on his shoulder.
"Give me 5 minutes. After that, Lilly can call them,"
Jake insisted. The group went silent while waiting for Jake to finish his task. Phil was about to tell Lilly to call them when Leah's phone made the unlock screen sound. "Wow," Hannah mumbled, seeing Jake's talent for the first time in real life. Most of the members of the group scooted closer to get a good look at Leah's phone. Jake went to Leah's messenger app to see who the last person she talked to was. Suddenly, his brows furrowed deeper as he was seemingly looking at something.
"Just an hour ago, Leah got a video message from an unknown person. The phone number is hidden."
He showed the screen as he put the phone on the ground so everyone could watch. Then he pressed play. In the video, Leah was seen being tied to a chair in a dimly lit room with nothing else. She struggled a little when a male voice could be heard.
"Say something,"
the voice commanded. Jake's eyes widened, and he let out an audible gasp of shock and gratitude. Jessy cried, and Lilly pointed at the screen, saying, "That's Leah! That's definitely her!" "Shh," Thomas said, as they all had to listen to what was happening.
"Go sit on a cactus,"
Leah angrily said while coughing.
"Oh, boo,"
Dan whispered, fearing for Leah's safety.
"Feisty little thing, isn't she?"
The male voice was speaking again, and Jake could have sworn that he heard it before. He clenched his fist as he watched Leah keep struggling. No matter who this man was, he would hunt him down.
"Well, Jake, if you don't want your pretty little girlfriend here,"
the man kept speaking as Phil whispered to Jessy.
"Since when is she Jake's girlfriend?"
"For the last time, he is not my boyfriend!" "Apparently she isn't," Jessy whispered back.
"To get hurt."
Jake clenched his fists tighter, ignoring the pain and the whispers behind him.
"I seriously thought they had a thing going on,"
Dan butted in. "Who is spreading this rumor?" Cleo suddenly asked.
"I suggest you do as I say."
The man laughed, and that got the attention back from everyone else. Leah was now visibly shaking and hissing in pain as the rope only got tighter around her.
"Get me the money, or else."
Then Jake saw the man stroking Leah's cheek, who turned her head away in disgust. Jake felt such rage inside of him that it even surprised him. "Hey, back off! You're insane! Jake would never do that, not for someone like me!" Leah yelled.
"I will. Just watch me,"
Jake said promptly, making everyone turn their heads towards him. "You're delusional, stupid, brainless, your tattoos are ugly. I can't believe you let Poke work for you. Who does that?" Leah continued, unfazed by her kidnapper.
"Wait, did she just mention Poke?"
Dan asked in disbelief. The camera zoomed to Leah's face as the man finished his demands.
"You have 12 hours to get me the $10,000 as a start. A sign for your cooperation. Oh, and in case I wasn't clear enough, if I don't get my money, your pretty little girlfriend is going to pay me instead, one way or another."
The man finished, and his recording stopped. A couple of seconds of silence, then,
"Did he say $10,000?
Thomas questioned. "Leah mentioned that the man has tattoos," Lilly added.
"He kept mentioning that Leah's your girlfriend,"
Phil mumbled. Jessy looked at him a bit annoyed. "Jake, who is this guy? Do you know him?" Hannah asked seriously. Jake closed his eyes. The voice, the mention of tattoos, and, of course, his demands for the money were all indications that this person knows very well about Jake's hacking abilities. There could only be one person.
"Mike Warren,"
Jake whispered, and he opened his eyes. "Who is that?" Cleo asked, as someone who knows almost everyone in Duskwood. Jake picked up Leah's phone and turned it off. He had to think carefully about how much he could reveal about his past. He trusted the group now. It's just that he wasn't ready to reveal everything. At least not for now.
"As you all know by now, I'm someone who's hunted down by the government. I was on the run for 4 years. During my first year of going into hiding, I met a girl, a year younger than me, who would constantly run away from her house, as her family was quite abusive. Her parents would constantly fight, and her big brother would always lose his temper and make things worse. She would run away from home until her mother begged her to come back. During one of those days, I met her when we were lining up for food at the soup kitchen. She saw me and immediately wanted to get to know me. I guess she had a thing for runaway hackers,"
Phil mumbled. His comment made Hannah want to smack herself. She remembered the time when even she had a crush on Jake, which, of course, disappeared when she found out that they were blood-related. Jake completely ignored Phil's comment.
"During that time, I wasn't experienced yet on the streets, so seeing someone else who was young and could give me pointers made me open up to her. She showed me all the places where I could sleep safely, and what to look out for when you're alone, which parts of the city to avoid, and so on. I truly learned a lot from her, and that was the reason why I befriended her. She was my first friend when I was living on the streets."
Lilly and Hannah scooched closer to Jake as they felt sympathy for Jake going through such a life. Jake's expression softened.
"In return for all of her help, I of course helped her as well. She had an ex-boyfriend who, let's say, had something of hers she needed him to get rid of. He wanted her back and used that as leverage to threaten her."
Dan opened his mouth to say something, but opted not to. Jake continued.
"I was able to hack into her ex-boyfriend's phone, found what she wanted, and deleted it from existence. She was very grateful and was soon getting to move into an apartment and offered me 2 months to stay there with her for free."
Everyone remained silent, trying not to show too much curiosity in wanting to know whether Jake accepted such a proposal.
"Her brother got wind of what I could do. He was helping her get to the apartment, so it was natural she introduced me to him. His name was Mike Warren, and at the time he was just a small criminal, someone who would pickpocket people, sell drugs in small amounts, and sometimes even beat people up to get their valuables. Then suddenly, one day he approached me. He was furious as he discovered that I was wanted by the government, and he wanted me to stay far away from his sister. I think, in reality, he was just afraid that through me the police would show up on his doorstep. I was still very weak and had no means to defend myself from criminals, so I agreed. But then he started to blackmail me. He said he would not sell me to the government if I got him $200,000. I had no such money. He, of course, wanted me to get it from somewhere else. I didn't want to, as the government had already enough reason to have me as a target. I left the city before meeting his sister one last time to say goodbye. She didn't take it so well. Last I heard, she completely cut ties with Mike and disappeared. Now she's happily married, living with 2 kids.
Jake ended his story with a faint smile. "Wow," Jessy said in awe. "What a story!"
"Yeah, afterward I made sure I wouldn't make such a mistake again and avoided opening up to anyone else. Until I met Leah, of course."
Jake sighed.
"Let me guess. Now Tattoo Man not only wants the money he failed to gain from you, but also wants revenge on losing his little sister."
Dan randomly summarized.
Yes, I'm absolutely sure that's the case, and only God knows how much of a criminal Mike has developed into over these past 3 years. I have a feeling he doesn't earn his money through simple pickpocketing and beating people up in dark alleys anymore.
Jake concluded. Great. That's just great. Phil stood up, frustrated. And now Leah is in the hands of that maniac because of you.